Hey, our watch, Jessica Tapia here. Before we get started, just want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe. You can also find our videos over on ourwatch.com. Today we have in Janette Chun. She is the CEO of Birth Choice Centers. I'm really excited today for her to share with us about this amazing resource that every woman should know about. And so welcome to the show, Janette. Thank you so much for coming in. I guess my first question is, how did you even get started in birth choice centers? What did that all look like? How did God lead you to this?
Yeah, I started 10 years ago. Actually, I shared my testimony at my church that I was at the time, and they realized I had a teen pregnancy. And the president of the board was at my church, and he said, "You've got to join this group." So I came and joined it, and shortly thereafter became the executive director of the Temecula Center. It's since grown to 5 different centers in Temecula, Hemet, Palm Desert, and Lake Elsinore.
That is amazing. I just drove by the Temecula one the other day, and I was thinking, I need to get inside. I need to learn more about this resource because I love it. And essentially, it is your better, safer alternative to Planned Parenthood, right? Is that like, how would you describe it to someone who doesn't know what Birth Choice Centers is?
So we call ourselves a pregnancy resource center. Okay. And what that encompasses is pregnancy testing. We have a doctor's office inside of our center that we can refer to for ultrasound and other medical advice that might be needed from a registered nurse. And we have programs that are just outstanding to be able to provide them. But the major thing we do is provide advocacy. Women just need somebody to talk to. Yep. Give them their options, show them what it is that they need to learn about their pregnancy, and give them an ability to think through a very difficult decision in a time of crisis and distress.
Right. And I think, and I'm sure you know more on this than I do, but women who do end up, taking the life of their own child more often than not regret it and could have kept themselves from making that decision if they had maybe given themselves some more time and knew that there were other options out there and that someone would walk them through something that they're potentially thinking, I can't afford this. I can't see how life is going to work if I bring a baby into the world. So I just love that you guys are there in full support. I mean, everything from, I heard at church the other day, diapers and, formula, whatever it is, you are there to walk through this whole journey of motherhood with women who are needing whatever support they are needing. So how do we share this with the communities, with women, so that they know this is the option? Or this is an option for them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. As a nonprofit, we don't have the millions and billions of dollars that other places have to be able to advertise our services. So we get very deeply involved in our communities. We make sure that we're involved in our churches and that they know we're there. A lot of it is outreach. Outreach is very important. If nobody knows you're there, they don't know they can avail themselves of your services. So we work very hard to be boots on the ground and a very viable community resource that our city centers and communities, Chamber of Commerce, churches would be proud to send their people to. A lot of the resources we provide we provide a lot of resources that are helping a woman make a decision during crisis. But then once she's made that decision, we have a plethora all the way up till their child is 2 years old, resources that are just unbelievably helpful. And it gives them hope and it helps them. And so I think that the majority of the places where we're surrounded are very proud to say that we're in their community.
Yeah, I'm proud. I love what you guys are doing and this option that's available and out there, and it makes me want to share it with everyone that I know. I would love to hear of just like a story, a praise story. I know maybe you can't be specific on who it is, but just maybe a mother who has come in to one of the centers and just what that looked like a real life story of what it's looked like helping a mother that was just found herself in a crisis and needed true support.
Yeah. I'll give you a very generic story because we're very cautious with confidentiality. It's a big thing for us. So I don't want it to sound like a story that somebody could say, I recognize that story. Yeah. So in a general form, we have a number of young women that actually have come in with their boyfriends, and their boyfriends have given them a story of you do whatever you want. I'm told it's your body, your choice. Well, we inside of our centers have an incredible program called the Fatherhood Project, where we can walk alongside those men and help give them voice. Because back in the other room where they're talking with their advocate and they're sharing the things that are important to them, and we ask the question, what would you do if your boyfriend said he wanted the baby? And she said, I would want his support and I might keep it. But he said, it's my choice. So I don't know what he really wants. So that's a general story we hear over and over and over again. It's one of the reasons why we created the Fatherhood Project, because we believe that's that man's child as well. And if he knows he's allowed to support the woman that's carrying his child, then he might be able to stand up and be stronger towards advocacy, towards keeping it, and know how to stand up as a man and do a good work for his family. So we've had a number of women that have been through that journey especially. And after time, maybe not that moment, but even after time, they've come back wanting to talk to us again. And in the end, they end up keeping their child for the most part once the man steps up and says, I want to do this journey with you. They're scared. They don't want to be alone. It's terrifying to think about having a child and being alone in this world right now. And they just need to know that they're cared for. So that is a story that's very familiar to us. And a lot of the time, women who are coming in, sometimes they have 2 and 3 children. And they think, I can't afford another child. They're married. They don't know what to do, and it's terrifying to them that they might not be able to handle a 3rd or 4th child. So we just try to help them come together with their spouse and find ways to encourage and give them hope that they can do this. They've done it before, they can do it again, and there's help. And we walk alongside them and provide them with a mentor that gives them the ability to speak out what they need. A lot of us are verbal processors. We just need to talk to another woman, work through our fears, and not make major life-changing decisions that we can't take back in the middle of a crisis.
Yes. I love what you shared about men and dads, because the enemy, one of his number one tactics is to just tear down the man.
That's right.
Silence him, remove him, whatever it takes, like that is on the top of his list. And especially when it comes to life and children, if he can take the man's voice and love and impact away from a baby, a child, he's doing exactly what he wants to do. And then he's going to get through to the mom, and then there might not be life at all. And so I love that you brought up the father, because we're really at a time where we need to activate the dads and the men, get them using their voice, get them really realizing how appreciated they are. So much of culture in our society, has not done that for men at all. And I was watching a video on Instagram yesterday, and it was just like 2 men working this just crazy job. They were like covered in mud with this huge machinery, and it was like, hey, women, we're hiring, and it was totally a joke. But it's like, we could not function without men. We could not. And so I love that you guys really bring the father into the picture and let him know he has a choice, a birth choice in this as well. Because that body inside the mother's body, he helped make.
That's correct.
It took his body also to make the body inside that mother's body. So he has as equal of a say in this life, in the life of this child, as the mother does. So I love that you guys do that for men. What has been the best thing about what you do? What have you enjoyed the most working as the CEO of Birth Choice Centers?
I love the fact that when we find a woman who came in great distress, and she's able to find hope, and she comes to a place of peace with her decision making, later on she's able to bring the baby in. And we get to see them for a long time. Once they're with us, normally they stay with us, and they avail themselves of our services, of our parenting programs, of our material assistance program. And we get to see them grow, and that baby come and grow. And we graduate everybody at 2 years old, and we wish we had more ability to provide longer services, but we only have so much space for so many things. But it's it's a beautiful thing to be able to see that, as well as ministering to the man and seeing strengthening in their relationship. My other favorite part is being able to guide a man and or a woman through our grief and loss program.
Yes.
There are so many people who've had abortions that are suffering. I don't think we should believe at all this shout our abortion. We're so proud of it. Maybe there is a group that feels as though they're proud of what they've done and they feel hardened of heart in that area, that it does not touch them in that way, but that is not the majority of people.
No.
The majority of people feels a great tearing in their soul, and their soul has been rent. And I've ministered to women who 50, 60 years later are just now telling me about their abortion.
Oh, wow.
And they've been devastated. And their lives have been torn apart because of it for many years. So maybe some people don't feel that way, but a majority of them do. And we have an incredible grief and loss program that we can walk them through to help them share that pain, have healing, find somebody they can talk to in a group setting about it, and walk in a new manner that has been set free from the pain and the difficulty of that secret or the bondage that it brought them emotionally and mentally. That is one of the greatest things I can say that we can do to help set people free.
Definitely. So seeing it come for full circle with watching the life of the child, come about and then see them until they're 2 years old, really that full circle. And then on the other side with those who have, aborted their child, you get to see the redemption through the grief program.
That's correct.
Which I wish I would have known about that. Like when I was in college, I remember having a classmate come to me and she just kind of shared, and I think she told me that I was the first one she had shared this with, but she shared to me that she had just recently aborted her baby. She showed me the tattoo that she had, in memory of the baby and how regretful she was of it. And I just remember feeling like this was such heavy news, such a heavy story she was sharing with me. And I had no idea how to respond because no one had ever shared something like that with me before. And I put myself in her shoes and my heart was just like broken. So it would have been really cool to know of something like that. And it might not have even been around at that time because it's been a little while since I was in college now. But I'm glad I know about it now because, like you said, the majority of women who take the life of their child, they regret it. And
Yes.
it causes some serious damage. I still have friends today that are suffering through that decision they made at, 18, 19 years old. And, they'll text me and they're just like, it's a bad day. I'm, in my closet crying. And it is so, so sad. What the devil can do in our brain.
Yes.
And how he can get us thinking that in the moment this is the best option. And I think so much of it too is having faith. Faith is hoping and believing in what we cannot see. I can totally understand a young woman not being able to see how she's going to bring life into the world and be able to care for this child, provide for it, all the things. I can understand, being in that place where you just don't see how it's going to work. And again, that's where faith plays such a huge role. And obviously, I'm assuming not all of the women coming into the center maybe have faith, but like you said, that's also a great opportunity to get to minister to them and say, hey, the God I serve, this is how good he is. When we put our trust and faith in him, when we look at this child, this life that we are growing inside of us as the miracle that he has put into play and that he is fearfully and wonderfully making within you, you can put the faith in the creator of that child that he's going to provide. Once you bring this baby into the world, he's going to provide what you and this baby need. And so I think it's so amazing what you guys do. And I can't wait to come in and have a tour and just get to share about it with people I know in the community.
That's
so
great.
Are there maybe any final comments that you would want to share with our viewers about what you do, maybe about the center specifically here in our area in Temecula?
Well, if anybody wanted to find out about their local center and where we are, they can go to friendsofbcc.org.
Friends of
BCC.
BCC.org.
Friendsofbcc.org. And that's our donor site. And we kind of keep it hidden, so we only share it when we want people to go to it. But we also have our client site, and that's birthchoicecenters.org. And that can help people to get a appointment with us and find out the resources that we have to provide. I think the greatest thing right now, especially in our world, that if anything above all else, when we're dealing with this situation right now, we know we have to deal with a spiritual battle. This is the women coming to us and the men coming to us and looking at their lives and thinking it's either the death of my life and the death of self of who I am or the death of my child. And one of them is going to have to change and die. We'd like to change that narrative and we'd like to let them see that there's new life. It just may be life in a totally different way than they expected it to be, but everybody can reverse it. And I think that if we're going to continue talking about women power or women that can do anything, why can't they do anything and have a baby? Why can't they go to school and try to find a way to have a baby? If they can do anything and women have all this feminist power that they can have, then they can have a child too and figure that out as well. So we want to encourage them that there is a way, there is hope. And I think everybody that is within earshot of what we're listening to, if they know a woman that is dealing with this fear, don't encourage them to do something that's going to change their life. You're not the one that has to live through it. They're the one that has to live through it. You find them help. And you find them resources that will encourage them to go a way they're going to be proud of later on. In the middle of a crisis is not the time to make a life-changing decision. You need to hold on. There's time. There's a lot of time to wait. They try to make it a very urgent situation. If you wait, it's going to be worse. No, waiting gives time for thought. And that's why they don't want you to wait.
Right.
We want to give time for thought. We want them to be available to make decisions that they will think 10 years from now, I'm really glad I made that decision, instead of what we see, which is women and men who have deep regret, like you were talking about.
Yes.
It's a vast majority of them. So if you know somebody who needs our resources, contact us. We'd really like to be able to help them. And if you know somebody who wants to support our work, we get everything through private donations. We have no government assistance whatsoever, and we're growing. And we need people to come in and say, I believe in what you do and I want to support it, so you can grow and you can minister in a very powerful way.
Yes. Amen. Where can people find you? A lot of our viewers are on social media. Do you guys have like platforms there that we can follow along?
Yeah.
You or the centers?
Yeah, absolutely. So our centers, we have pages that go by each center. So Birth Choice Temecula, Birth Choice Hemet, Birth Choice of the Desert, Birth Choice Lake Elsinore, but we also have our mom and baby boutique. But we can also find us on friendsofbcc.org on Facebook. I'm not really on social media, so I don't see those sites as much as possible. But we do have an Instagram that's very powerful, as it gives a lot of wisdom to parents and helps people to think through the decisions that they're making and not to believe the lies that they're not capable of being able to navigate this journey.
Right. Well, thank you so much for what you do. It was amazing getting to chat and learn more about Birth Choice Centers, and I can't wait to come in and do a little tour. We'll plan that out. All right, our watch, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did and learned all about Birth Choice Centers today. She shared a couple ways that you can find them and support. Please like, share, and subscribe this video. Send it out so that women know that this choice is available to them. I know we see Planned Parenthood everywhere screaming at us, and sometimes we feel like that's our only option. There are better options, but we have to use our voice to share that. So again, thanks for tuning in. This is Jessica Tapia with Our Watch.